Hey, listen, thank you everybody for all of the good wishes and prayers and just conversation about recovery, wishing me well and everything after my surgery. That was pretty cool and overwhelmingly humbling. That all you guys thought enough about me to send your prayers. So I really do appreciate that. And oh yeah, so just a little recap. So the surgery was just a scar revision. It was just I used to have an ileostomy bag, and they reversed the resection after part of my colon was removed and my rectum, and so I came out of the ileostomy bag and I started defecating normally again. But where the ileostomy bag used to be, they don't stitch that up. It closes from the inside out, and when it did that for me, you got to keep packing it over time, and then it eventually closes. And when it was closing for me, there's some pockets that developed in there, caused some pus, and that and the mesh that was in there, it just created a bad situation. So I had to get a scar revision. That's what it was about. I mean, a lot of skepticism and stuff, and people are, oh, well, if he's got an issue with cancer, had nothing to do with cancer. It was more of a nuisance and kind of cosmetic. So it was an elective surgery, and it was just part of me building back a better version of myself. So let's get started. Let's build back a better version of all of ourselves because this is something that's necessary to talk about. I want to make a couple corrections for previous information that was put out. I think that is important. Details matter, and we can't be spitting information that we don't have confirmation of. And in this case, I regurgitated something that I believe to be true, and a deeper dive makes me kind of question it a little bit. And so we're going to go ahead and dig into a little bit of that. As always, you can find us on just about every social media page under the title "Beating Cancer Today." Listen, if you guys share these videos and we grow this platform, we'll reach more people. That's really what it's all about, is just getting this message to the person who needs to hear it the most. I remember when I was sick and I was in a place of desperation and I really just didn't have anybody to talk to. This is a place for all those people. And thank you guys so much for your participation. All the dialogue and stuff. When I was sick, I didn't have the energy, and I'm sorry, not when I was sick, but when I was just recently recovering from this surgery, I didn't have the energy to address everybody's concerns. And then collectively, as a community, everybody came together, and you guys started regurgitating the information that was already scientifically proven and posted on this page. You guys are helping other people find that, and I'm so very grateful for that. It kind of takes a huge burden off of me, not a burden, but a responsibility off of me. And I think that it's incumbent upon all of us to share that responsibility. Some of the people that are in this group, we're just truly blessed to have them because they are phenomenal at research. And those people are starting to jump in and participate more and more on this page. And literally, we're saving people's lives. So thank you guys. Thank you for all of your participation and all the dialogue. Listen, I don't have to agree with a lot of stuff that you guys say, but you won't be censored. And as long as you're just not a dick, everything's on the table. What my cocktail is not the end all be all. There's a lot of other things out there that work, and I'm a firm believer in the shock and awe concept. I think you got to hit it and hit it hard. And you know, you circle back to clean up the mess, but you know what? We got to kill this disease, and the only way to do that is to get up on your toes and start punching from your toes. It's hard to win a fight when you're throwing punches from your heels. Get up. The best offense or the best defense is a good offense. I always mess that one up. The best defense is a good offense. So get aggressive and let's hit it hard. So listen, one of the things that I just want to mention, my all-time disclosure, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a United States Marine. I have no educational background in science or whatever. Um, but I do have an education in logic and research and common sense. And everything that I'm telling you is scientifically been proven by the same people that are pumping you full of the poison. The same people that are pumping you full of Western medicine, their side job is doing research on cancer resolutions, and they're publishing the stories. They're publishing the evidence that all this stuff does work. Why it's not out there on the market? Well, I think there's some greed and a whole bunch of negative stuff that comes into play on that. You'll figure that part out. You probably already have. But listen, I'm just a United States Marine that got diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer, and they sent me home to die. And I wasn't really trying to hear that. So I devised a plan, and I put it into effect, and I executed it with discipline. You know what? I'm still here. They gave me a couple weeks, and it's been a few years, and I'm still rocking it today. And I gotta really give all that credit to the repurposed medicine that I found to be useful. And I after chemotherapy and all the Western medicine efforts failed me. The doctors were brilliant. They were great. I'm not vilifying anybody, but after they exhausted all of their options, I was sent home on hospice to die. I found relief in repurposed medicine because I wasn't ready to give up the fight. And the repurposed medicine that I had put together, that was based on scientific evidence, that was scientifically, medically, clinically, and through survivor testimony supported to be effective. And I started taking this cocktail. 6 weeks later, I was 50% less disease. I wasn't even supposed to make it to that scan 6 weeks later. I was supposed to die a few weeks before that. But this cocktail did get me to that 6 week mark. I was 50% less disease. And in 14 weeks, I was completely no evidence of disease. And that was over 2 years ago. And 9 scans later, I just had my ninth scan last week, 9 consecutive scans of no evidence of disease. My Signatera test comes back negative, completely negative. My CEA markers are plummeted. They're like at the low range of normal. I think I'm like at a 2 point something. But nevertheless, we got to continue to stay vigilant. And the reason that I wanted to put these weekly broadcasts out there is so I could deliver this message that the repurposed medicine that I found to be effective it consisted of 5 ingredients, and those ingredients is fembendazole, which is the star of the show. I only use Merck products, so don't ask me what I use. I'll tell you what I use. I use Safeguard Paste. I use a Merck product. That's what I do. A lot of people use Panicure. A lot of people use fembendazole. That's great. Those are Merck products. And then there's other products that I don't use, but most of those products seem to be effective also. I just don't use them. I trust Merck, and that's what I go with. So fembendazole is going to be the star of the show. The number one ingredient is antiparasitic. Tagamet, or the active ingredient in Tagamet, which is samidodine. Samidodine, another big player. All right. AHCC, active hexose correlated compound. It's a collection of mushrooms for your immune system. It's a big part of it. Curcumin. Curcumin is anti-inflammatory. If you have cancer, you probably have heard of it before. Big player. And annatto. Annatto is actually the only good part of the vitamin E, which has been shown to complement the fembendazole. Every one of these, those are your 5 ingredients. Every one of these ingredients are scientifically proven with clinical research that's attached to this Facebook page in the announcement section. All of these ingredients have been clinically proven to complement the next ingredient in the cocktail. So there's a reason why they were put together and why I included all of these in one cocktail to work in concert. So anyway, that's the information that I wanted to put, make sure everybody had as a foundation. It's not to say this is the end all be all. This worked for me and it's working for thousands of other people. However, there are other things that work. There are other things that work. I'm not vilifying Western medicine. If you have the option of taking Western medicine, great. Western medicine was awesome for me. It kept things at bay long enough for this repurposed medicine to do the job. So, listen, shock and awe, baby. You throw everything at this disease, everything, including the kitchen sink. If you unbolt that joker, throw the kitchen sink at it too. It is incumbent upon yourself to to put into effect the shock and awe mentality. I'm going to gouge your eyes out with my thumbs and eat your skull for breakfast. Eat your brain. I tell you what, the intensity that I have is incredible. The energy that I am sharing with you right now is genuine. I woke up this morning. I just had surgery last week. And you know what? For the first week, it really didn't bother me because I had this vacuum pump attached to me. It was like to pressurize the wound, the surgical site. I didn't have any pain. It was like a little bit discomfort, but no pain. And then that vacuum thing popped off, like by design. After a week, it pops off, and the pressure changed in that wound site, and oh my god, the pain kicked in. And you know what? I've been down. I've been down. I've been on the shelf for a few days, literally. Couldn't throw the frisbee for my dog, dude. I have been completely on the shelf, and today I woke up. I got out of bed, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I was in pain. Well, discipline is doing something that you don't want to do, like you love to do it. And boy, I didn't want to do it. But every single morning that I swing my feet out of that bed. I'm faced with a decision. I get to make a choice, and I have the opportunity to make a choice. Some people don't have this opportunity, but I have this opportunity to make a choice today. Am I going to be a victim? Am I going to be a victim? No. And you shouldn't be a victim either. You should not be a victim. Listen, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt. No, nobody cares. Get back in the game. The difference between you and the next person is who can push the hardest and tolerate the most without giving up. And the ones that push through are going to be the survivors. I promise you that. So, listen, I you got to make hay with it while the sun is shining. And I got a shift of energy this morning. Bam, right into the gym. I started moving my blood, moving that blood around. Motion creates emotion. Listen, I don't want to be on the shelf. I don't like being hurt. If I'm going to be hurt, you're going to have a reason to hurt me, because if this is hurting me, I better give it a reason to hurt me. If I'm just laying around and I'm hurting, well, I might as well get up and hurt. So listen, it's all a mindset. It's all a mindset. If you don't like the narrative, do something to change it. Change the narrative and control the outcome. Get up. Let's go. So listen, okay, I want to correct some things. On the Warrior Wednesday with Randy Howe, we had mentioned some stuff about milk thistle and a prophylactic, using that as a prophylactic for protection against your liver, to prevent your liver from going out of whack while you're taking this. I have never had issues with my liver going out of whack. Never took a prophylactic. I never took it in response to my liver going out of whack. Didn't have it. Honestly, didn't really need to research it because it didn't affect me. But now I'm seeing it affects so many other people. And because it affects so many other people, I felt like this should be addressed. When we were talking about it in the Warrior Wednesday episode with Randy Howe, he had made mention that milk thistle, taking milk thistle as a prophylactic when you have a hormone based cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, something hormone based, um, that it would enhance the cancer, that it would promote the cancer, and because of the hormonal base uh, of the cancer. Well, that has since, we said that and we had a conversation about that, and I don't know if there was a conclusion to it or not. I'd have to go back and watch it, but I do know a lot of people had discontinued their milk thistle, or at least they had concerns about it. And for this reason, I want to clear that record. Okay, milk thistle has been known to be beneficial for increasing estrogen metabolism. All right. So, meaning that it can aid in cleansing excess estrogen from your body. All right. So it actually doesn't do what I thought it did. So, a little bit more research actually, um, it kind of revealed some things that when you dig into the hormonal aspect of what milk thistle contributes to, it's much different than what I thought. And a deep dive was able to actually reveal some of these little nuances that kind of make me think it's not detrimental to people with um, hormonal based cancer. In fact, there's actually studies that say just that. It's been tried and proven specifically in those cancers. So um, for the efficacy of what it does. So anyway, um, the the hormonal imbalance symptoms that you would get um, after cleansing the excess estrogen from your body. Uh, the head and neck tension. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but bloating, mood swings. There's a lot of things. Difficulty sleeping. Milk thistle is also it helps with all that stuff as a result of your body purging that stuff. So, nevertheless, I did a deep dive on the milk thistle, and it kind of bothered me that all the sources said that to avoid it, but none of those sources had any clinical evidence to support their claims. So I didn't really think that it was odd at first that you say something over and over and over again, and eventually, if it's repeated enough, eventually it just kind of becomes gospel, and people start following suit as if it's factual. And just because you say something doesn't mean it's factual. And I would encourage everybody to challenge everything, whether they see it on this site or anything. Question everything, because there's a reason why we came to this place in our lives, and that's because we've been sheep. We just kind of willy nilly followed everything, and I think that it's tragic, and I was part of it too. So it turns out milk thistle is actually beneficial to not only be anti-cancer for all hormone cancers, but beneficial for most likely all cancers. So it actually increases the estrogen metabolism, effectively reducing the amount of the active estrogen by speeding up the clearance from the body to get rid of it all. So it is part of a cleansing process, and and that's how it reduces the amount of extra estrogen you have, because it flushes all the old crap out quicker. So also, if you look up milk thistle for the individual hormonal cancers on PubMed or any of those sites, it induces the cell cycle arrest and induces apoptosis in all of them. I mean, every single one. So I mean, some people don't know what milk thistle is. So if you're like me and you never had the need for it, you probably wouldn't really know much about it. But milk thistle is like it's a weed-like plant. It grows it's a plant that it grows in the, I think it's the Mediterranean region. Can I get a fact checker on that? I'm not sure. I think it's the Mediterranean region. And I say that because I'm in Florida, and I'm a little bit familiar with Caribbean and Mediterranean. And anyway, so and they also have a diet, I think. But anyway, It's like a weed. It's like a weed, milk thistle, and it's grown in the Mediterranean, I think. And it's kind of got like a purple flower. You've probably seen it in pictures before. It's a relative of the flower of like a daisy or dandelion. And I actually have heard somebody make mention on one of these sites that that the dandelion has some medicinal benefits too. But nevertheless, it's not what we're talking about. Milk thistle is what you really want, and the milk thistle has a chemical inside of it. It's called silymarin. Silymarin. I call it silliness. Silymarin. It's a high. It's really super duper high antioxidant, and it helps anti inflammatory properties, and or it has a inflammatory properties, and can help fight against the risk of even type 2 diabetes. Um, so there's multiple benefits of what it could do. It may also help fighting to fight the oxidation of healthy cells. It promotes oxygenating your healthy cells. So what are the main benefits of this? Um, a lot of people do it like a prophylactic. Some people do it in response to their liver enzymes going out of whack when they're taking repurposed medicine or even Western medicine. Um, Primarily, milk thistle helps improve the liver function. This makes a great option if you're trying to improve your overall liver health because of some of this poison that's being pumped into you. I'm not talking about the cocktail. I'm talking about Western medicine. But another of the liver's primary functions is to regulate your estrogen production. So that is where the milk thistle inside the liver production comes the estrogen connection, right? Even though milk thistle is slightly estrogenic, studies have found that it helps speed up the estrogen metabolism. So your dump is even that much better. So it doesn't enhance your estrogen levels rise only because of the purge of the dead crap, right? So this is another reason to actually take milk thistle is to improve that hormonal balance by the liver, the metabolism by the liver, how your liver metabolizes your estrogen, and so it improves that. So it's another reason to actually take the milk thistle, not to avoid the milk thistle, even if you have these hormonal based the hormonal based cancers. Um, so it literally one of my it has become, because I've researched the hell out of it. It's kind of become one of my all time favorite herbs for all these health conditions that it promotes. I didn't start personally taking it yet, but I am considering it, taking it, uh, not even for liver prophylactics, just for taking it. I mean, there's so many other good things that it does, but it's one of the best liver cleansing herbs that there is, and a healthy liver is vital for your hormonal balance, and that comes into play when you have hormonal based cancers. Correction made. So I know a lot of people take the Tudka and different stuff or whatever. I just I don't see the science behind the Tudka, but now I'm convinced that the milk thistle is the Mac Daddy of prophylactics for your liver, um, regardless of what kind of cancer that you have, and it actually it actually helps the other cancers too. Many people don't know that the body filters out excess estrogen, and your body filters out excess everything. That's why I fast, because that is literally your body eating itself. Me fasting doesn't mean that I'm starving myself. My body continues to eat, and it eats all that crap that is the die off in your body, die off of disease, die off of cells, die off of all the die off. Your body is consuming that. So your body continues to eat. You're just not a glutton pig. Just because you're not eating doesn't mean your body's starving. Your body's still eating. And you can only process one meal every 24 hours. is all your body is designed to process. So if you're eating 3 meals, what's happening to those other 2 meals? They're stacking up in your gut. I mean, garbage in, garbage out. You got to get rid of it. And you can only get rid of it so fast. So think about that when you're stored gorging yourself. All right. The liver's also the processing plant for our body's toxic wastes. So all of your chemicals and heavy metals and the fungi and all that stuff, it all those toxins are inside of you. Your liver filters all that crap out. So many of these toxins can act to mimic hormones in our body, and that leads to further hormonal imbalance or disruption. So milk thistle can cleanse all that out too. I mean, there's just more and more reasons. The deeper I dig, the digger I deep, the deeper I dig. So, so here's your new best friend, milk thistle. Not only does it work to support liver renewal, it also is beneficial in targeting estrogen dominance. By simply introducing the milk thistle into your life, you can work to reestablish the correct balance of hormones, improving the efficiency of your liver function, and start feeling more like yourself again. Folks, if you're not doing something to change the narrative, you have surrendered to the outcome that you've been given. Then you're right where you belong. Do something to change the narrative so you can control the outcome. Folks, we got a lot of things going on. Please share these things with you, this information with all of your friends. Ask those friends to share with their friends. We have a Warrior Wednesday episode that I still haven't edited yet because I've been on the shelf. But today is a day we're going to start moving and shaking because motion creates emotion. And if you don't get that blood pumping, if you don't get the blood pumping, you know what I fear is that one of those COVID vaccines might catch up to me and I might have some sudden death. So get the blood pumping. Remember, move your legs. Move your legs. Whatever you're doing, even if you're sitting down, move your legs. The calf muscle in your leg is like the heart muscle for your upper body. That calf muscle is going to push the blood back up into the rest of your body. Your heart's going to push it down into your legs. The calf muscle is going to push it back up. Circulate, circulate, circulate. Motion creates emotion. Devise a plan, put it into effect, and execute, execute, execute.